Okay, wanted to show you guys how sometimes some of these old vintage watches, you don't take the back off to get them off. Generally, there are numerous varieties of backs, and I always check out the way to get in by going around and around, and I could see some markings on the back of this. So try to get in the usual way. I'm trying to get this so that you can see the markings there where someone tried with a two-pronged tool. Um, at any rate, I tried in that spot with my razor blade, and not even the tip would really do much to get in there. So I kept poking and prodding. I knew it was an overwound watch. This is a Trice. It is Swiss, and I wanted to see how many jewels. And also I will have to fix the mainspring, as someone over tightened it, which I knew upon purchase. I purchased at a low cost because it's one that has to be fixed. So, or a lower cost, I should say. At any rate, one jewel. You can see right here. I used a loop to see, but probably those of you who use your devices a lot, you can just do like this with your phone, just zoom on in. There you go, Swiss unadjusted, one jewel. Today I also worked with a watch that has 10 jewels and 2 were adjusted. So this one's unadjusted. And then we have Mackie Watch Co. So an interesting watch company to, know the history of. But you can see here, I'll be using these handy dandy screwdrivers. Let me get this back. Aren't they beautiful? And the base rotates. I got a great deal on these. As you know, watch tools can be very pricey, especially if you get the top brand. As I continue to build my empire, someday I will get the top brand. But right now we have these, which work just fine and dandy. And you know how sometimes when you read the reviews, it'll say, oh, the blades break off. I haven't had any break off yet. They're really not supposed to be used for opening watch bags, but we all know that everyone does it. Okay, don't pretend like you don't. Go ahead. After we've exhausted all of it, I'll use my spring bar kit, and I've got different heads for those. I'll use my blade. I'll use this nice ultra tiny screwdriver, but it's still, the blades are not as tiny as these up here, which you can see why I need them. On some, these are almost, they're not big, but they're larger than some of the screws I've had to deal with for taking them apart. And let's see, one of my other favorites to get up under there, of course, you've got to get it started first a lot of times, is this super tiny knife with abalone. And I made myself a keychain with it. But this is not my everyday carry for a small knife. I use my key black knife that some of the the kids like, the teens that I come across really like it because it's great for, opening boxes, cutting string, this and that. And you can just wear it around your neck. But this one would make a great pendant, much smaller than the longer blade that I carry, which is still considered very small. So yeah, there it is. Isn't she pretty? So I'm going to get her taken apart, and I'll show you my baskets. I've probably shown you these baskets before, but they're like my little gaskets to put never mind, I'll show you another time. You don't want to sit here while I go through all of my drawers to find my gaskets. But for my ultrasonic cleaner. And someday we'll do that together. So you guys have a great, getting in here through the top. What in the world? I was going to let you go, and I spent all that time talking about the inner workings. Couldn't get it going, spent some time. This goes over the top, right? This goes in the inside, as you know, and this is almost feels like a velvet, but it's not. The dial on it. At any rate, I'm carefully laying that down. All right, so went in here, opened her up, opened the crown up, and you have to be super careful when you do this, as you know, because you can break that stem. That stem can easily break off, and I'm in the process of replacing a stem for a watch. Well, it's a pendant watch where that happened. So at any rate, I very carefully and gently got this one from my set. It's done wonders for me. It gets into tiny little spaces without scraping the stem when I have to, or coming in contact with it. So I got in there and I very gently pressed, just trying to pry to see what was going on, you know, in the watch for getting that back off. And as I was testing the top and feeling around, this popped off. All right. Now this is, you know, a lot of times they're like a mineral type of crystal. This one feels just more, you know, polymer oriented, very clear, not scratched up, not crummy or anything. It doesn't have the same feel as those mineral, you know, let's see if I can find one. Ah, right here. I can't, you can't, you know, the internet doesn't yet have the, the touch response, so you can't tell what I'm talking about. You might be able to tell just even by looks. Like I could tell there was something different about this one right away. Number one, it's more ultra clear than this one. These always have, the mineral ones seem to have, even though they're still clear, a bit of a coloring to them. And no, it's not just from age. So, okay. So anyhow, that is a tip. Maybe if your back is, you know, I know there's most of the backs that we encounter, or many of them, can be very tricky to get off. So, you know, but if you've worked and worked at it and you're like, you know, usually there's something that indicates there's a way in, and you're only seeing markings where someone else tried to get in, yet you still can't get in, then maybe try the top. Try very small, like I said, very small driver in through whatever hole you can find, which is, as you know, right there. Don't break off that stem, and it might be a way to pop off the top. And no, I didn't break any glue or anything. It snaps in there, as you can see, which is also kind of different because generally they are sealed in. So, okay, that's that. Have a great day, everybody.